Who's in the Wiggle House? Who's in the Wiggle House? Who's in the Wiggle House today? Manny's in the Wiggle House. Rob's in the Wiggle House. Steady talking garage doors and construction all day.
I can honestly say I've not heard that tune. That's like the tune.
If you have kids, you'll know.
That's the tune?
Yeah.
Who's in the Wiggle House?
Who's in the Wiggle House all day long. When I'm driving, I'm singing it. It's in my head. When you're home, you're singing it, you're humming it. But yeah, if you have kids, you know that song.
Oh, you know,
the Wiggles.
There's some GCs in this city that could probably be that song could be sung to them, man.
Oh,
on the homes they're building.
I'm
just saying right?
Yeah.
Rob, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have. I think we booked this about 15 years ago.
Yeah. It's been a while. But
why has it been so difficult to get a garage door guy on the show? Just busy?
Yeah, things are busy. Yeah, it's
Good
been
for
great.
You, man.
Yeah, it's been great. It's always been busy. So yeah, it's we're moving along. It's one of those things. Just trying to take care of clients and
being customer service guy.
It's all about client relationships.
That's all it is. You can't ignore that stuff. You can't ignore the phone. You can't ignore any of that stuff. You're running a business.
You have to attend to everything. Absolutely. Got to be on top of it, be proactive.
But you got a whole team too, no? Like
we have a team, absolutely, yeah. It's very important. It's when you have a good team around you, it makes everything a lot easier.
Okay, we're gonna get into all kinds of obviously garage doors.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about that business,
course.
Everything that's attached to a garage door.
Garage doors,
all
whatever
kinds
you
of
want to
stuff,
talk,
right?
construction.
And then we're gonna talk about construction. We're gonna talk about running a business, entrepreneurship, all that stuff. But let me do a couple of shout outs. Phil, Heavy Duty Homes. I've got his long sleeve here. It's actually getting a little cooler. Leaves are starting to turn. So thanks, Phil, for the tea. And then I also want to do a little shout out to Tools of the Trade. The boot camp, they're actually doing really well. There's they're an amazing program. They have these little workshops that come along, and they just park them every so often, 1-2 day workshops, and then they get a bunch of people coming in and they get their hands-on experience. They start talking to real tradespeople. They start getting a very good idea on the business side, the skills side, and everything. So they just sent me a note here and just wanted to give me an update on what's going on, and I'm like, guys, good for you. So huge kudos out to those guys, and check them out if you guys can. Anybody who's listening and they're interested in trying to get into the trades and they don't know where to start, Tools of the Trade is the boot camp is a perfect spot to start.
Awesome.
So I got Rob. How do you pronounce your last name, man?
Canizares.
Canizares. It's almost like Can Azores. It's almost like that. Maple Overhead Garage Doors, www.maplegaragedoors.com. You can get them at their phone number, which is 905-738-9231. And then also you can email Rob at maplegaragedoors.com, and find them all over social media at Maple Doors. Where do we want to begin this conversation?
Yeah.
Why did you get into the garage door business? Or is it the garage door business, or is it the overhead door industry?
Well, we're a family business, so my father started
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the story stems from my father at the end of the day. So he started this with my grandfather back in the late 70s, early 80s. So we go back a very long time.
I love mom and pop shops.
Yeah. And like every family business, you've seen the highs, the lows, and you've gone through it all. And, it's, he's been doing this for many years. I hopped in this business 15 years ago. That's where my story begins. But his story is started back in 1998. We moved to Maple, Ontario. And that's when the name Maple Garage Doors came to fruition. You guys
moved there when there was just cattle.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, one lane, Keele and Rutherford, just like.
It ain't like that these days.
No, it's quite the chaos. But yeah, so from that point, my father, he loved the game of garage doors, right? And he went on his own and basically started gaining his own clientele throughout the years. And then I hopped in 15 years ago.
I love the old school guys. Yeah. And without them even realizing what they were doing, they were all about customer service.
Absolutely.
They knew the value of a handshake.
100%.
Like in today's world, it's just this whole paperwork, contracts, and all this crap. Yeah. But back in that generation, it was just value attached to your word.
Absolutely.
And that's how he probably built and started and continued that business.
Absolutely. Your word is your bond, right? Your word is everything you have. Without your word, you're nobody, right?
So that's the lesson that he taught you to get started when you came in.
Yeah.
And then you took it, I guess, on a digital platform.
Yeah. So when I got involved, I started doing the installations. We were just like a 2-man crew back in the day, 15 years ago, and it quickly grew. I got involved with the sales process, and then I started doing the marketing, the branding, and it's.
What was the marketing and branding before that? Like, what was it? Wasn't much. Was it?
Wasn't much.
Was it just like signs every so
often?
It
was like a logo with like broken springs, garage door on the truck, and his personal phone number.
Made sense.
Yeah,
it made sense.
For the time, it worked,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, so I just had to like flip the script on it and just adapt with the times. I mean, 15 years ago, think about it, it's, time flies. But yeah, back then it was, it was just really referrals, word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
They knew my father, okay, he'll take care of things. And, I've learned a lot through him, throughout the years, like you learn, right? And it's, you learn a lot.
I don't know why clients don't spend more attention to the garage door, especially in North America. And I could also say probably in the States as well too, is that the garage face is a good, I would say maybe a third of the facade of a home these days.
Yes, absolutely.
For the most part, right?
Yeah.
I know that they've been trying to do some sort of subdivisions where they're parking the garages back in the back alley now, creating a back alley. Laneways. And they're trying to do that in a suburban environment. That's all over the place in Toronto as well too. But it's the same thing. When you go down those alleys, it's just garage door after garage door. And now it's being changed where it's garage door and laneway home. And that's happening too. Yeah. But it's just, I never understood why people never maintained, took care, understood the square footage that's associated with that image, curb appeal. They just give me the cheapest 6-panel colonial crap. I never understood that, man. Dingy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've always tried to reinvent the game when it came to the garage doors. So when I got involved, I really wanted to change the game. Like everybody was doing the standard colonial stuff, and I said, no, this can't just be it. So I started reinventing the wheel, bringing out different products, doing my research, and just like learning it. And yeah, I always like to have a certain garage door for each certain house. Your house should be custom, should have that custom feel, right?
I totally agree.
We've done thousands of garage doors over the years, and that's like, if you know who we are, you'll understand, okay, yeah, Maple did that one, and that's what I like to see, right? And, it's one of those things, you just have to adapt, right?
Do clients, don't they understand that you open your garage door more than you do your front door?
Yeah, that's one of the main, I would say, openings to your home. It's the largest opening in your house.
So if you don't have a hoarder's nest of a garage, right, where everyone just parks everything and leaves a little alley getting to the door or whatever, and you actually properly organize your garage.
Yeah, utilize it for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Use the space for the purpose of that. I've always argued that every room in a house has a purpose. Yeah. So just design it and build it and work it for that purpose.
Absolutely.
Including your garage.
Yeah.
So if you actually have space to park 1, 2, or whatever, how many vehicles you want to, then you get home, you hit the garage, it opens up, you drive in, you close the door, and you go in. Yeah. But you're literally using that door more than you are the front door. But yet clients only care about spending the big bucks on the front door, which is probably what? Less than 5% of the facade of your door, of your home.
Of course, yeah.
Versus the garage door.
Well, you'd be surprised what we do if you've seen it.
No, I've seen your product, and it stands out.
A lot of people are putting like it's unbelievable. Like the amount of designs that are coming through, and we're working with designers, architects, builders. We're constantly creating different types of products.
What's the trends? What's going on today? Like I know off mic we were just talking. I was saying 20 years ago I was probably. Yeah. I think I was actually factually. I was the first one to put a black flat panel. Well, it was a grain flat panel.
Yes, of course.
Door, and I had to force the installer to paint it for me, and I had to sign off on the warranty because they wouldn't warranty it.
Yeah, back in the day it was just like brown, clay stone,
chocolate, ugly brown.
Yeah, and no black. Now everybody wants black, obviously. But nowadays, I would say the most popular trends are fluted designs, flush panels, something more clean, contemporary.
You know what I would love to see? You probably brushed stainless.
Brushed stainless.
Would I be crazy to put a brushed stainless garage door in a residential area?
I'll be happy to make it for you.
Wouldn't that look sexy though? Like everyone's talking DeLorean these days, and they
you know what? I did fabricate something like that. My team fabricated something like that.
I think that would look kind of juicy, man.
I'll send you a picture of it. It was pretty unique. We implemented it was a flush panel garage door, and we implemented some stainless steel accents throughout the garage door. It looked really cool.
I think that I'm not knocking black. I mean, the black looks great. Yeah. It's wonderful.
It's trends, right?
I guess the only problem is that if you're not paying attention, you're drunk or whatever, and you're trying to move your vehicle into the garage, and then you're like, is it open? Is it closed or whatever? And then all of a sudden you hit it. But I'm not saying you should be behind the wheel of a car if you're intoxicated. I'm not endorsing that. I'm just saying that, I mean, with other options other than, like, I don't think there's a purpose for a white garage door.
Not anymore, no. Well, the thing is, for me, it's always complementing what's on the home, right? So when I go see the home, I'll always look at the home, see what we're working with, the window colors, the front door, even like to the landscaping. So it gives me a better idea of what the client should put on this home. And then I give some input, show them some inspiration. They give me their feedback, and then we just put our ideas together and come up with the perfect garage door.
What's the rule, Rob, here? Like, I used to years ago, I'd probably say a decade ago, I had a rule, I guess, that I would just start paying attention from what homeowners were asking. The front door would match the garage door would match the side door, but all the windows would be a different color.
Right.
My thought process these days is that all of them should be the same color. That's just my thought process.
Again, it comes down to what you're looking for. So many of the times, like, you have a front door that has a stained finish, so they might want to match the garage door to that stained finish. So we do that. So we do custom stains and paints in-house.
So if it's a stained wood door, front door, you're matching your metal?
It wouldn't be metal. It would be more of a wood product that we would do.
Right.
We would match that to the front door and have that consistency, I would say.
That's an expensive door for a garage door.
You'd be surprised.
It's like a bare bones Toyota Corolla at that point, no? Yeah. It gets up there. I mean, it's wood.
It gets up there, but we make it affordable. Yeah, we're.
But then you got to maintain it too.
There's maintenance, but that's the thing. There's maintenance with all synthetic products, right? Let's be real here, right?
Yes, very
whether
true.
It's a wood door, fiberglass garage door, it still needs maintenance.
Yeah.
And the big misconception is in our industry is, I want a maintenance-free fiberglass door, but I tell homeowners,
I hate that term, maintenance-free.
Yeah, it's not maintenance-free, right? So let's just, like, we have to put that there, right? You have to put a gel coat, gel stain on the garage door, even your front door, right? Like, when I purchased my fiberglass front door for my own home, I was told, oh, it's maintenance-free. And then now look, a few years later, the door's starting to fade, it's turning white, it's getting all full, it's chalking out at the bottom. So for me, when you're trying to match the front door, I always say, listen, yes, wood door, there is some maintenance involved, but at the end of the day, you get what you want. At least you could change the color down the road if you need be, and you have more options, right? So, yeah.
So I'd love for you to talk about, because I always gravitate towards quality, and it's worth the money to spend it this way, because I go back to functionality of a room or of a device that's being used in that room or that area. I want to maintain it. I want to, like, just keep it clean, keep it safe, keep it all kinds of stuff. I don't want to constantly be replacing it. And that's the crappy thing about you guys. Like, and that makes a lot of sense too with you guys. You're selling a product that hopefully will last basically that person's life, that homeowner's life that they're there. They don't necessarily have to come back to you to replace that door that you just sold them. But they're definitely going to endorse you to other people. So, I mean, like, give me two lists here. Give me, let's like, I want to dissect the garage door. Like, I've seen the cheap, thin, tinny, smaller casters.
It's
like,
bad.
It's bad, right? And
it's even worse now, man.
It's like the McDonald's version of whatever. And I'm not knocking McDonald's unless they become a sponsor, then that's a different story, right? But I'm just like, what is the difference? Because I know what quality, thickness, heaviness, like stuff like that. What makes the difference between a good quality garage door and then a really crappy mainstream door that is being sold to almost everybody?
Well, when you're dealing with the steel, so right now, the Toronto and GTA market, they're being flooded with these low quality doors. It's a big problem right now.
Made out of what? Thinner gauge metal?
It's the steel doors. So right now there's many of these low quality steel garage doors that are being promoted throughout, just for the homeowner that's looking to replace their garage door. They have no idea what they're getting, and the quality's bad. So they promote it as a 2-inch thick door, right? R16, but they always leave out the brand. So the brand is very important because you need to do your research and see, okay, this company has many years of experience. They know how to manufacture a proper garage door. For example, like Garaga and all these bigger brands, Upward Doors, another one. Look, they're made here locally in Milton. They make a great product.
Yep.
But these, companies are coming here and they're creating their garage door at a much cheaper price, but the quality is horrendous. So it's the foam injections that they're using. It's low quality. The steel, the gauge of the steel is it's terrible. And what I've been seeing lately from that end is, like, you go drive around the GTA, you'll start to see doors bubbling, delaminating, and you start to see it. And the homeowners are now calling me, like, because I've quoted some of these jobs pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And price points were off maybe by $200 to $300. But I always tell...
What are you talking, like, what, 5%?
Yeah. Yeah.
5%.
And I always tell them, okay, there's always a reason why someone's cheaper.
Yeah.
So what is it? So then I'd start doing my own research and I started doing my own things, and I figured out, okay, so this is what they're doing. So our industry is full of tailgaters, truck and ladder guys. They buy a garage door, whatever. So they'll actually use the old hardware off the old door, put it on the new garage door in order to compete with us. So that's what they'll do. Because
Isn't it more time consuming to get a laborer to remove that hardware and then put it on? And what if that hardware is actually not functioning properly? What, are they lubricating it to death?
And this is the problem, because now I'm getting calls saying, hey, Rob, I know you were good to us. We didn't end up going with you at that time. So
how do you handle that conversation?
It's a tough conversation, because at the end of the day, I help all of our clients, right? That's just who I am. I've always been that way. But, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so, right? It's kind of one of those situations. But I go there and I see this and I'm just shaking my head. I said, well, how could somebody even do this, right? So in our industry,
did the homeowner not see this? Like, did they weren't there?
People are oblivious, because at the end of the day, they're just looking at the bottom line, the price, right? So like, oh, wow, I managed to get my garage door for this price point, right? And then, 2 or 3 years goes down the road, and then all of a sudden, you have a situation and that guy is no longer in business. He's changing his name. It's a big problem for us right now in this industry.
Again, he'll use another panel that's inferior.
It's a big problem right now, and I'm trying to find like ways to because I'm like trying to figure out how we could regulate this a bit better, right? Because homeowners are getting taken advantage for right now, and I'm always about educating. So right now, what I'm doing to prevent this, I'm telling homeowners, just come to my showroom, see the difference. I'm just trying to educate them a bit more so they understand, okay, this product costs this because of that. This quality product costs this. This is the reason why.
But I revert back to the homeowner not understanding that you have to spend a little bit more money for the quality.
Yeah.
And they just look at it like, it's just a garage door. I don't give a crap about it. But that's the problem. It's not just a garage door.
It's not just a garage door. There's a lot, you got to remember, the garage door takes up a lot of the front of the home. There's a lot of elements, right? You're getting the snow, the salt. Yeah. You're getting tons of elements to the garage door. So there's a lot of wear and tear on that garage door. And if it's, if there's not a good product, you're going to have problems down the road for sure.
But are the majority of homeowners, they're like, we'll get to that if it ever happens. We get the sense that it may not ever happen. It might, but it may not. And we'll
taking
be fine.
that chance. It's your hard-earned money. Why, it's a tough call. Like, I leave it in their hands at the end of the day. If you still opt to go with that route, no problem. Right. But the clients who know us, we're I would say 80% referral based. Right. So people who know us, they know, okay, you guys care about the quality.
But you're like a small community that's slowly educating people properly.
I educate all my clients.
This is the way it should be.
Absolutely.
But the thing, what happens when you get a client that's just refusing? No, I don't want to spend more than this. This is my number.
If you want to work with us, great. And if not, there's no problem at all.
You have no problem that, listen, you've given them the best. There's no, and I've always said this, this is your price. Yeah. This is what it costs you to basically install this door for your home, right?
Absolutely.
So for you to be coming back at this person, a supplier, a tradesperson, or whatever, and you're asking them to do a dramatic discount, you got to understand, there isn't massive markups on garage doors.
There's not, no.
You guys aren't making a car's worth of profit on every single door that's being installed, right?
No.
So you've got a margin at that point.
Absolutely.
So it's at some point you got to say, this is my bare bone. This is my bottom. This is for me to operate a business. I'm still operating a business.
Absolutely.
I'm not just a hobby guy who's coming around and just being Saint Nick or whatever and helping everybody out. I'm operating a business, but I'm also going to back up that business.
100%.
That's the real question to ask them. And I know that most homeowners, they go back to that, if it breaks down later on, then we'll deal with it.
Some homeowners they don't want to listen, right? you know, and like I said, I always leave the ball in their court. Like, we always try our best for our clients. We do what we can, but
you almost want to leave your business card and then a flyer for a hearing test clinic, right? It's like, because you're not listening, man.
See me in 2 to 3 years. Unfortunately.
Well, you know, it's unfortunate is that I guess remember back in the day, your dad probably would remember is that you would drive around neighborhoods and you'd have that one panel that's on an angle.
Yeah, cables are off, broken springs.
Broken spring or whatever it is. But I guess today is like you have those problems, but now you also have that bubbling going on because the foam is inferior, the metal is inferior.
Right.
The house is parked geographically speaking in the worst possible location.
Absolutely.
And you're getting full sun on summer days for most of the day. Yeah. That's an oven at that point.
It is, it's hot.
It gets really, really hot. And then if it's an inferior product, it's going to bubble. And then you're like, how do we explain that?
It will fail. And I can, like, when we get to those conversations, I always say, okay, no problem. If you want to see the difference between a good quality door and our quality door, I'll give you a list of addresses. Just go drive by, see for yourself.
That's all you got to do.
That's it. Just go see for yourself. Very, very simple.
When you guys were doing it back in the day, 2 guys, how long would it take you to install a double car garage door?
Like 2 single doors or 1 big double?
One big door.
So 1 big door, it was about an hour and a half.
Boggles my mind how fast you guys are.
Yeah.
How are the guys today? About the same time?
Yeah. Like
you guys are like machines. Like you come in, you
it's about systems, right? So we know what works. Our teams, they understand what works, and they've been doing this for many years, so they understand. Okay, this is the protocol. Tracks, garage door. Like they know how to set up everything, and they just get to it, right? But the only thing that will slow them down is like the site's not ready. There's a mess trying to, it's all about having that, foundation and keep learning, and you just get better at it, right, over the years.
So the other argument that I had when I installed my door and I was forcing them to paint it is I wanted the backside painted too. Okay. And he just refused. He was like, why are you painting the backside? I go, it's inside the garage, man. I don't want to see a white door
absolutely
on inside the garage there, right? So then eventually he did it. Just listen to the. I'm asking you.
Get it done.
Make it better. Like it's just get it done. And now it's a really good door, and it's still holding up, and it's still there, and it's just like doors are supposed to last a long time.
Absolutely, 20, 25 years on a good quality product. Minimum, yeah.
Could even last longer.
It could depends how often you maintain it, right? Lubricate the door and.
What's failing though? What do you might fail like a caster, right? Is that
what would fail on a garage door is typically the garage door springs and the cables.
Springs, yes.
The moving parts.
I've changed the springs once now.
Yeah. Well, they run on cycles, right? So
I didn't do it. I hired a professional.
There you go.
And you should definitely hire a professional.
Absolutely.
I don't want to find out the Newton force behind that spring.
It's ridiculous. I've had clients, they come to our facilities, our warehouse, and...
Listen up, guys. If you love top-line products and are interested in a dealer opportunity, you're going to want to hear this. I recently installed a Box Gobbler wall insert from MB Sentinel on the garage wall adjacent to my front porch to make a secure locker for my package deliveries. Let me tell you, the user experience is pure freedom. I can now make returns right from my home, and I don't even have to be there. Even knowing what it was supposed to do from the get-go, it still made me smile when I experienced my first delivery. If you want to see the scope of work the install requires, you can find the video on my socials. So check them out, mbsentinel.com, or call them directly for dealer details at 1-800-910-4251. And again, that's 1-800-910-4251.
We want to help them, and they say, no, I'll do it myself. And I say,
no.
and it's typically like the older folks, right? They want to, and
you give them the hearing test and you give them an eye patch now. It's like, listen,
you come back with a broken arm.
Yeah.
One of them did. They came back with a broken arm. Yeah, I came back with a broken. And I said, what are we trying? I was like, okay, go. You guys go do it. I'll pay you the service fee. Just go get it done. I said, was it worth it? Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I can do it, but
that's harsh.
It's tough. Yeah.
But I guess you just old school European.
Yeah.
Of course it was. Of course it was, man. Yeah. But I just the professional, man. Like these are still moving parts. These are still moving components on a like a big moving. People don't understand that it's heavy, that door, and if you don't know how heavy it is, it's when the spring breaks and you got to try to lift it up.
Yeah, you need like 2 to 3 people depending on what type of door it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So now I want to get into a little bit of I guess, the mechanicals of it, because now you've got all the sensors going on, which sometimes Mother Nature messes with those sensors, right? The sun, if it hits a certain angle.
Yeah, I'm getting like, I don't know, on a weekly basis, like 30 to 40 phone calls regarding safety sensors.
They're just they're tripping, or they're not?
Well, it could be like a variety of things, right? It could be spider webs on the sensors, or
back to maintenance, and you should be looking at
right.
them and
but again, we're about educating our clients, ensuring that, you know, hey, this is the way it should be done. Oh, thank you. Oh, Rob, I need a service call. Can you send your team? Yeah, no problem. But before I do, why don't we just have a quick phone conversation and see if we could fix it over the phone? So then we just have a quick, you know, phone conversation, and we fix it over the phone. Oh, you saved me a service call. Thank you for that, right? Oh, look out for this for next time, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the sensors are one of the most. It's very finicky, those things, right? So you know, one of your kids maybe hit it with a bike or a scooter, or you grabbed a shovel, you knocked it off.
Snow
prevents the door from closing.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the sensors are like that. That's what's going on.
That's typically the number one call, I would say, safety sensors. Yeah. So simply adjust it, and you're ready to go.
And then I guess what's the bar that's connecting to it from the?
That's the motor operating arm.
Is that what it's called? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a goose. Is it? I don't know what maybe I was just. Someone told me it was a gooseneck or something. Goose down. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Coming up with your terms.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out. But so basically, other than that, then you've got the actual opener itself, and then you should spend the money on like a good quality opener, because I guess for the purpose of it being quieter, because it reverbs, right? And I'm looking forward to a show that we're going to do in the near future about sound.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a lot about that. And that's the number one complaint that they've heard over and over, especially when you've got a room or
above the door,
above the garage door.
Yeah.
You'll always hear that opener when it's great if you got kids and they're trying to steal your dad's car or something like that. It's wonderful. But it's just, you got to just spend the money on a good quality opener. Right?
It goes a long way. Yeah. Like the number one brand right now is LiftMaster. LiftMaster is the number one brand in the industry. So they have your typical chain drive, your belt drive, your side mounts.
What's better?
Right now, I feel side mounts the way to go.
If you have the space.
If you have the space, but we typically, you know, we'll find ways to put a side mount motor when we can. Yeah.
I know off mic we were talking. I can't fit it in mine as much as I wanted. I can't fit it. Is the belt better than the chain, or is the chain better than a belt?
Well, the belt is it's a steel belt, so it's still very reliable. It's very strong.
Okay.
So yeah, but most of the motors, if you are going with a trolley operator that's being mounted right down the middle of the garage door, the belt drive would be the way to go. Okay. Yeah, we're selling many more belt drives over chain drives over the past few years.
So how did someone? Okay. The side mount openers, they came from commercial applications, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Yeah. Like it was basically the large, heavy steel doors that were used for fire halls, ambulance carriages, things like that, right? So how did the science behind that work? Because you've got a mechanism that's grabbing onto that bar on one side of a balanced operating system. How does it know to turn that thing equally so then the door doesn't? Like that's
all electronics, so like
I figure you would need two of them to balance it out, but you don't, I guess.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You got to remember too, the main component is the spring component, right? So the spring is what lifts the garage door up. The motor just pulls it up, turns it. It turns it up, right? So you would think that the side mount motor or the belt drive motor is like one of the main things lifting up the door, but in fact it is the spring. The garage door spring is what pulls the door up. That's what lifts up the garage door. Yeah.
All right. So security is a big thing. And
I'm getting a lot of these calls right now in Toronto, and from I've never seen it like this. Cars being stolen and robbed. How do we reprogram remotes, and how do we protect ourselves from these thieves? And it's unbelievable.
How do we protect? I know off mic before we got started, you were mentioning that there's a rolling codes now, because I had a problem with that with the latest one that I installed maybe about 2-3 years ago. And I totally forgot. I got to give a huge shout out to Joe Fernandez there from JR Doors, right? Nice. So he does all kinds of doors as well. Nice. So I know him through Instagram and just garage door guy, but he also does windows and doors. Nice. But yeah, he's the one he installed that opener for me. And he was telling me that particular model didn't have the rolling codes, because I guess it was probably about a 4 or 5 year old model, but they started implementing the rolling codes, right?
Well, I feel that the technology has been around for many years, to be honest.
May not have been on that one particular.
Maybe not on that model in particular, but going back to how to secure your home a bit better when it comes to garage doors, I'm always telling our homeowners, hide your remotes, do not leave your handheld remotes in the car, hide them because they could break in, press the remote, and then they have full access. So I've seen that happen.
Wow.
Nowadays, there's these new motors that come with cameras. They're built-in cameras.
But now you're just watching the TV show of your house being violated.
It sucks. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
Tune in tonight.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I'm getting like I said, 5 to 10 calls a week of cars being stolen right out of the garage.
What about the cars that you can pair to the actual car itself and not use the opener? Is that
the home link? Yeah, so I wouldn't even. It's honestly it's a tough call because then you have access at that point too, right?
If
break
you get into
in,
the car,
hit the mirror, hit the button, and they get in,
huh?
right? So right now, I did see something online that I think is a good deterrent. It has nothing to do with garage doors, but it was like an alarm system. I think the company was called Avas or Avas Security.
Yeah. They've been on the show.
Have they?
Yeah,
okay,
Avas,
cool. Yeah, I've seen them on Instagram. I did see like
he had the motion cameras.
That thing, but it was like an alarm going off,
Yes.
and I said, that would be a great deterrent for these situations.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
That would be. So everybody's asking me, and I said, "There's only so much that we could do to prevent these situations."
Aren't the side mount openers better because they've got a locking mechanism on it? Yes and no.
You'd be surprised what people do. Take a. Yeah.
They're gonna just cut it.
There was a situation that I had. I'll tell you a little story. You got to hear this story.
These guys are just.
You got to hear this story, man. It was incredible, and my client shows me the video. I'm looking at it. What the guy did was he cut into the garage door. He backed up his F-150. He put a chain around the garage door, rips, so that you see the guy crawl through the garage door. You see, like, I don't know, a minute later, the garage door being pulled off the house. It reverses, and you see the garage door going down the street with sparks flying, everything, and the car right out, gone. So they actually cut a hole into the garage door panel. So there's nothing really that will...
Nobody home?
Yeah, they were home. They woke up, they heard a big bang, and by the time they went down, it was gone. It happened so fast. Yeah.
Listen, man, I wake up when I hear the opener.
Yeah, it happened so fast. Yeah, so these are professionals out there right now.
How are they cutting the hole without making noise?
I don't know how they did it.
Are there
but they did it.
Are there tools out there that have silencers on them?
I have no idea.
Because DeWalt should be paying attention. To
yeah,
that,
honestly,
I don't understand how they make that noise.
When I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is a big problem right now. If somebody can actually rip a garage door off the house and steal a vehicle, I said, yeah, there's a problem out there right now.
Do you remember the old school? I'm going way back in the 80s, man. Yeah. Like, how did we lock our garage door? First of all, we didn't have openers.
Yeah.
Right? So it would have been a wood garage door.
Yeah.
And it had that one little flat piece of metal that just went right into the track.
Yeah, it was like a little lock that you go through there. Yeah.
Right? And then you had the key turn handle thing on it.
That's from the outside.
On the outside that had the cable on it.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, today, that's what you would want.
Yeah.
But it doesn't aesthetically please on the outside. Right. But I go back to function at that point.
Right.
And that's why when I first saw the side mount operating systems, they had that bolt.
Yeah, it helps to a certain it helps to a certain point, right? But it's not like totally secure. Like it's a good gimmick to have on your garage door, but it's not everything, right? At the end of the day, I always tell homeowners if somebody really wants something, they will do what it takes to get that.
We had
it's very unfortunate.
We had Ontario Bollards on the show here recently, and that's going to get posted soon. And I was just joking with him. Are we going to get to the point where we're going to have to put a lift in the garage in the concrete floor?
I've seen that done.
Yeah, the wealthy have it, and then you drop your vehicle underneath, and then they can't access the vehicle. You're walking into a garage that's completely empty.
You mean one of the lifting systems?
And it just goes right into the ground.
I got to show you a video after. Yeah, I was at a nice house the other day, and
the wealthy people. They can. I'm talking about the mainstream people.
No, but they had those bollards. I saw.
Yeah, they're getting more and more
on the driveway.
Yeah,
I was like, wow.
But they're also being asked to put them right in front of the garage door.
Oh, really?
Because if they get into the garage door, because that's what they're saying is that they're figuring out ways to actually get into the garage, whether it's cutting it open or operating it from the opener itself.
Wow.
And then getting inside, and then if there's bollards there, then you can't get the vehicle out of there, right? Yeah, right? But it's kind of weird that you're trying to fight aesthetics, pleasing of the home. You don't want the home to look like a penitentiary or something like that.
No, of course not. No.
You want it to be protected, but you also don't want to be, someone breaking in and steal stuff,
of
right?
Course. Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of scary, man.
Yeah, it's different times right now, I would say.
So you guys do all kinds of doors, though, right?
Yeah, all
You're
types
doing like, okay, so all kinds of overhead doors, but there's also boathouse doors and.
Yeah, we're doing boathouse doors, flush mount garage doors. This is a new trend.
What do you mean flush mount?
So basically, the garage door is flush to the face of the home. So when you're looking at the home, if you see the Instagram, we're posting quite a bit of them. It's basically flush with the exterior of the wall. So when you're looking at it, it looks seamless.
That's
and then you hit the garage
cool.
door, and then it opens up. So it's,
how does it open? It comes in?
Yeah, there's certain hardware that we use with that garage door, and we just work with the carpenters or the siding guys, and we collectively put our ideas together and say, okay, this is what we're going to do, and let's make it work. And we're always working with each other on that particular system.
Are those doors that you guys are working on? They're like they got the vertical grooves of wood and just to kind of integrate it into the siding.
Yeah, like the new tech wood
stuff like that.
Yeah, the new tech wood. We're doing a lot of those new tech wood garage doors these days. Yeah, they're quite unique. So we're basically working with a lot of these siding guys now, Maybach, and we're just bringing all these new products to the table. But the flush mounts, it's really cool product.
So how does it work with you guys? You're adhering that material to the face of your garage panel,
correct,
right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then it's getting cut on
getting
whatever.
cladded, and then the siding guys will cut accordingly to each section, and
are we ever going to bring back the knee kickers?
The one piece?
Yeah, those one piece ones that fold out and just kick your knees.
I get a few of those inquiries, but
they're still out there.
For residential?
Well, people still own those. They still have them on
Oh,
the
like in Toronto.
Yeah, but I don't know anybody that's or like. Do they still manufacture those doors?
They make them for like the airport hangars. They have those like those hanger doors. A few of our architects that we work with, they wanted us to implement some of those on a residential application, but some of those companies, they don't want to certify it. There's a lot of liabilities.
Yeah.
There's hydraulics and all these things involved. So, but yeah, one-piece doors, no. Because you got to remember, even too, with the snow kicking out. But then again, the wealthy have, heated driveway.
So you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, exactly.
But
the one-piece, no, it's not. You see a lot of those in Europe.
Are more and more people getting into glass doors?
Yeah, glass garage doors are extremely popular right now.
So frosted or clear or whatever? I guess
it's frosted.
They want to bring the light in, right?
Yeah, it all depends on your situation, right? Some homeowners want more privacy, so they'll go with a frosted finish. It gives it a bit more privacy. Then you have your tinted glass. It's almost like a car tint. You can still see into the garage. So, yeah, it's.
Can you do two-way mirror?
Yeah, we have mirror. Yeah, we have mirror glass options. We also have back painted glass options. We're actually installing 2 of those tomorrow on a job site.
That would piss off a neighbor if the sun hits it at a certain angle and it's just like bounces right into their house.
It's a little unique, right? But it's what it is, yeah.
It'd be interesting because now you could be standing inside the garage door and you're looking outside and nobody can see you, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But then I guess theft now. You don't have to cut metal. You just break glass.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. There's no winning, man. There's no winning.
I know, but the garage is such a huge amount of space.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, most people park their cars in there, but a lot of people actually turn it into little kind of chill-out suites, right? Like man caves or what have you.
Nowadays, they like gyms. I've been seeing them turning to gyms. What else? I say gyms, like hangout quarters and stuff. But it's unbelievable because sometimes we're working on these large luxury homes. They're like 4, 5, 6 car garages, and it's like they still park on the driveway. And it's like you have all the space. Park your car in there.
That's my biggest gripe is to walk around the neighborhood and see garages just full of stuff.
Yeah. Where does this go? Throw it in the garage. Yeah. I'm guilty of it, right? I have 3 kids, so it's like, okay, in the garage.
What's the smallest garage door or smallest overhead door you've ever installed? Smallest width?
Smallest width, I would say 6. Oh, the width? Depends on the application. But
can you make like a standard 36-inch wide
we would do those on not really for like an entry, but it would be for like a cabana. We've done them many times on cabanas, like pool cabanas.
Yeah.
So some of the builds have like the pool cabanas with an opening. So instead of a shutter, they would do like a glass.
Yeah.
So they would put their countertops. We'd have a nice glass garage door, powder coat the tracks, black, and they would actually have a functioning garage door there.
You're powder coating the tracks?
Oh yeah, it's like a standard for us.
You can do that now?
You have no idea, man.
That's
you have no idea.
That steel's been bugging me forever, man.
Yeah, we've been doing this for years, right? So
that just disappears now.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, many of our projects have black powder coated tracks. It's becoming more like a luxury thing, right? So like you're in your garage, you have, you know, epoxy flooring, slab wall. Yeah. Make it look clean, you know, finish off the look completely, right?
So how does, like, okay, what's your go-to, I know I use the word grease, but it's not grease, right? Solvent, whatever, that you guys use to, but if you got a powder coated track.
Yeah, you can still lubricate it though.
So you still lubricate it and that's it. It's going to be fine.
WD-40, yeah. Oh,
okay, yeah, really?
Yeah, it looks super clean. All the hinges, all the parts, it looks incredible when it's all said and done.
I never thought to paint them black, man.
Yeah, I've done them. We did it even for TFC too. We did their bar area. We did like red tracks or something. I can't remember what it was.
You can't really paint it, because it's gonna chip away.
No, you got to use powder coat.
You got to go powder coat.
Powder coat, yeah, powder coat.
And what about the bar and everything?
Everything.
The spring and everything?
Spring, but
that's
like,
already black.
Yeah, it is. But like sometimes, like it all depends on like the weight of the door. There's certain things we can and cannot do, right? So we just try to play it safe when we're.
So here's a dumb question. Then why?
There's no dumb question.
Well, why does LiftMaster make their units red?
No, they're black now.
There you go.
Yeah, the jack shafts are black, right? And the
jack shafts are black. Yeah, but the actual unit itself is frosted plastic covers for the
black. But those are silver now. They're like silver color.
Okay, but the actual unit, the unit I have is
red. Yeah,
which is LiftMaster's color.
Yeah. Now they're silver black, more modern.
So now they're black now, eh?
Yeah.
I'm going black, man. Everything's going black, and now you got powder coated track.
Black, just clean, just timeless.
Okay, here's the other problem I have now. The openers, though, the keypad on the outside,
beige. I know.
This drives me crazy, man.
Oh, it's a battle every day.
So they've taken the effort to make the unit black. You're powder coating the track black.
It's a constant battle.
It's like, oh, by the way, here's a beige little keypad.
I don't know what.
I literally stood there with Joe, looking at him, going, I'm really tempted to spray this keypad, man.
That's what homeowners do. Yeah. Or some homeowners say, hey, you know what? Let's not install it on the jam. Let's put it on the side of the house. Take it away.
Can you not find a different keypad from some other place in the world that has the same signal or can get connected? It doesn't operate the same way. I
don't know the connectivity of it.
It just drives me crazy that it's beige. It's almost the same problem I have with exterior.
I've been battling them with that. Yeah.
Exterior receptacles.
Yeah.
It's either you go gray or brown, I think.
And white.
Yeah.
There's no black?
I think they're just introducing black, but the price point is insane, though.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Why?
Because it's black.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the keypads have to change to black.
Yeah, I'm working on that with LiftMaster. I've been in contact.
Good.
Because, we're a big partner with them, so I'm always sending them ideas, even with for example, some of our garage doors are extremely heavy, 800 to 1,000 pounds, some of these products, very, very heavy. So the motors that they have now, these jack shafts, are only rated up to about 850 to 950 pounds with the battery backup in it.
Wow.
But some of our doors we're at that threshold, like 900, 950, 1,000 pounds.
That's heavy.
And obviously we don't want to use a commercial operator on a residential home. They're very loud, doesn't have the same, user-friendly features. So now they are coming up with something with a bit heavier that can lift up to about 1,200 to 1,300 pounds for residential applications. Not out yet, but they're coming out with that.
What's the standard height of a door these days? What is it, 6'8" or 7 feet?
No. I would say on the luxury side of things.
No, just on the average
home. I would say, because we also have a division of subdivisions that we do.
Okay.
In our business, so we install for subdivision garage doors. So they're about 8x8 is a standard size garage door now. Before they were 8x7s.
Mine's not 8 feet high. There's no way it's 8 feet high.
Yeah.
The opening?
Yeah.
I think it's 7.
Yeah, that was a standard, but now everything is getting to like.
So that's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
So now they're making them 8, and I've seen them even some as 9.
9x8 again. Yeah. We just did a site in Richmond Hill. It was 65 garage doors, and they were 9x8s actually. Yes. Yeah.
So here's the kicker.
Yeah.
Because I know that a lot of municipals, they don't allow commercial vehicles to be parked on residential driveways.
Okay.
Right? Because of signage and just neighborhood. They don't want that kind of crap, right? So I know that Woodbridge and up in Maple area, no. No decals on any commercial vehicles can be parked on a residential driveway. It's a bylaw.
Really?
It's a bylaw.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember my plumber telling me this, and that's why he bought a black Sprinter, so then he can park it there because he has no decals on it whatsoever.
Wow.
But here's the kicker. At 9-foot garage door, you're still 1 inch too short to drive a Sprinter into.
9 feet wide. Okay.
So the Sprinter's an average Sprinter, not a 4x4
How wide
one.
is that?
No, the height of it is 9 foot 1 inches high.
Oh, the height. Okay.
The high roof one.
The high roof one. Okay.
Right. So it's just because that's what I was always paranoid about parking my Sprinter van.
Right.
And I would just park it back up to the back of the garage door because if someone wanted to steal it, that's how they would enter it. But then again, now you got these jokers who are cutting just metal and they just cut the metal.
Yeah,
I see them cutting the sides of the doors now and they're opening up the door and they're getting in, they're stealing it. It's just like, it's insane. And what bugs me is that it's most likely another tradesperson that's breaking into that work vehicle that's taking livelihood.
Unfortunate,
It just sucks.
Yeah,
man.
that does suck.
So now we all have to pay attention to how we secure everything, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, this is brutal, man.
Yeah. Well, we all have to look out for one another, right? I mean, you see something odd, like...
We've all been approached by that guy who's driving by slowly and he goes, "Hey, you want some tools?"
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, sure. Give me your name and number and where you live.
Exactly.
And let me just get a photograph of your driver's license.
We'll connect later.
Yeah, we'll connect later and I'll connect with you. Yeah. And then you got some speakers while you're at it too?
Yeah,
okay,
all
right. So just, man.
Yeah.
It's just shady how this world is, eh? Everyone's just want to try to make a nickel and a dime.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But, that's short-term game, right? You always got to think long-term, right? Even when it comes to those types of things.
So maintenance, I think you were mentioning every season you just go in, just take care of.
For maintenance, I would say just lubricate, for yearly maintenance when the seasons change, give it a quick spray, right?
You guys offer maintenance? You guys have a...
Yeah, we have a service. We have a service crew,
They'll come in, take care of it, and it's running better. Yeah. Is there any way to make the doors quieter? What can we do to make the doors quieter?
Quieter? Like, you just have to use good quality components to the garage door, right? So nylon rollers with ball bearings, good quality hinges, tracks, the springs, good quality springs. It's one of those things. Yeah, like that's all you can really do to make it quieter, right?
But it's not like in the future, you're not going to get even more quieter than that, other than
the side mount motor, right? Side mount motor is extremely quiet.
That was a quiet unit. Yeah.
So the motor is typically what you would hear more of than anything. You hear the motor humming, right? You hear that as it's opening, so you hear typically the motor more than the garage door. If you just lifted the garage door up, it's chances are it's not that loud, right? But it also depends. There's many factors. If the garage door is 16-foot door, it's a wider span. There's a lot more flex to it. That might make more noise than a small single-car garage door would.
Okay, I've got another gripe about doors. I know that I have an inferior door, or someone installed an inferior product. Mm-hmm. When over a few years you start seeing a double width garage door sagging in the center.
In the middle, Yeah, you got to use the proper parts. There's reinforcement struts that you can use on the back of the door, strain things out.
But they're never there, right? So they bought this cheaper door.
Of course. Always comes back to that, right?
Now you've got this curve and all of a sudden you've got like a little gap there.
It's like a banana.
Yeah. It's like like when it comes to garage doors, it doesn't matter. If you don't pay now, you're going to end up paying later.
You always pay later. Yeah.
It's going to bite you later on.
Absolutely.
So why not just spend the money now, and then all you got to do is just maintain it, wash it, just keep it clean.
Keep it clean, yeah. If there's any surface dust or any salt, just give it a nice hose it down, wipe it down, make sure everything is all, clean, right? Proper maintenance, right? But
how durable are the panels these days? Because I mean, I don't have kids. You've got kids, but I'm assuming like back in the hockey and pucks, and are they that durable? They're not that durable.
They're not that durable. Well, I mean, they're durable to a certain extent, right? So if you throw
listen up, guys. If you love top-line products and are interested in a dealer opportunity, you're going to want to hear this. I recently installed a Box Gobbler wall insert from MB Sentinel on the garage wall adjacent to my front porch to make a secure locker for my package deliveries. Let me tell you, the user experience is pure freedom. I can now make returns right from my home and I don't even have to be there. Even knowing what it was supposed to do from the get-go, it still made me smile when I experienced my first delivery. If you want to see the scope of work the install requires, you can find the video on my socials. So check them out, mbsentinel.com, or call them directly for dealer details at 1-800-910-4251. And again, that's 1-800-910-4251.
A hockey puck or something.
Basketball, you ain't going to do anything.
Basketball, not so much, but it's more like the hard edge surface, like a puck or one of those the hockey balls, like the orange ones. Like that's going to put dents all over the door.
That's
tennis balls.
You tell your kid to take up badminton. That's what you tell
I just tell the homeowners, take it to the neighbor's house.
Take it to the neighbor.
Go to the neighbor's house.
The neighbor's going to call you to change their door.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you do this on purpose? Yeah, it's my sales
tactic. I always say that. Go to the neighbor's house. There's nothing really that will.
Go to that neighbor's house now, too.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, there's nothing really that will prevent that, right? It's
still a hard surface.
It's a hard surface, right? You have your steel insulation, but it's at the end of the day, it's foam injection on the inside. So there's no real structure inside of the panel that will prevent prevent that damage.
When did they start injecting the foam into the doors? Was that we're talking about like the turn of 2000?
No, but they've been
even
around
before that.
They've been before that, yeah.
Yeah,
90s, yeah. They've been around for quite some time, but they've evolved with their processes and how they make these types of doors, right?
How was the funny years for you, man? Was it a pain in the ass to just get parts and product and telling homeowners like, yeah, we'll install the door next year? Like, was it bad for you?
Has
it gotten normal now?
It's definitely normalized, but during those times, it was controlled chaos, right? So, but we've taken a lot from that, I would say. You know, it definitely taught you how to manage a lot better and how to pivot accordingly. You know, because, for example, during those times, garage doors, you're battling pricing. There was many price increases. Then on top of that, you couldn't get parts, right? So without the parts, you can't install the garage door, right? So there was a certain time where you couldn't get garage door springs. So we would have garage doors installed throughout Toronto and GTA with just a garage door with no springs. They couldn't even use the garage door. So then you end up having to go back, put the springs on and get it going. And there was a short period of time with that, but it was challenging. It was more the price increases than anything because we kept getting hit like month after month after month, 12%, 15%, 12%. So a job that we quoted 3 months ago now, hey, you know what, it's already gone up 30%. Like it was unbelievable. But we managed to make things work, you know, lost a bit of money, right? But we just kept rolling with it, right?
Well, it's kind of unfortunate that like the manufacturers were increasing costs because they saw their need to still hit their profit margins.
Yeah.
But you guys, boots on the ground, I call, were not increasing the cost in the same increments.
No, we were eating a lot of costs.
You were eating a lot.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But now you're trying to get back to normal, trying to get back to running a business normal.
Well, now it's efficient more than ever, but now, you know, we're at the point where it's like, okay, we supported you, you know, as a partner throughout those times. Everybody made their money.
Where's the
right?
love?
Okay, so hey guys, you know, it's time to start bringing this stuff back down, right?
They're not gonna do that.
I've got prices down, I have, and I've passed those discounts on to our clients for sure. Absolutely.
It only makes sense if it went up because you had to implement certain manufacturing processes or whatever. But now you've already done all that, and now you've gone back to a system that's working the way it was before, somewhat.
Right.
Then these costs should not be this high.
Well, you got to think of it, right? You have your lumber costs down now. I don't even know.
Commodity, it's gone down. I haven't looked at it yet, but it's reasonable still.
It's reasonable, right? Yeah. So like steel came down. They came down. Yeah. So why
is the price still up?
Right. Exactly. So that's my thing.
Capitalism.
With it, right? Yeah, man. It's terrible.
I know, but you going to the end user and going, listen, it's capitalism. It doesn't fly for them, right? No. They won't justify that.
No, they won't. But you know, they understand that's what we were dealing with at that time. Things have, you know, they've evened off, which is great. We can continue to get product at a good pace. So yeah, things are a lot better for sure. We're in a good position right now.
Man, I'd love to see a brushed stainless flush panel door like you were saying, that design.
I'll make it one day.
Like you do like a DeLorean inspired garage.
I'll do it.
Flush panel.
I'll bring it up to
with like a Trans Am little red glow back and forth on the very bottom whenever there's a criminal coming by. Like that would be wicked.
Yeah, maybe like some like LED strip lighting in as well.
That'd totally be wicked, eh? Yeah. Get away from the house.
I'll come up with something.
Stuff like that, right? What kinds of funky, you know what I always liked, and I only saw this one time, was a garage that was semi-attached, not attached, but it had two doors, one in the front and one in the back, so you can open.
So like a tandem, basically.
Yeah, and I always thought that was like the wickedest thing ever. I was in awe of what that looked like. And
even the subdivisions, they're doing
it like that too.
Yeah, some projects they have that. Yeah, you can walk right through, bring your lawnmower to the back.
Yeah,
utilize the space a little bit.
It makes so much sense, right, to do that.
Yeah.
What other kind of funky doors have you guys done that put together? Anybody ask for some craziness or anything like that?
Craziness. Not so much the craziness. It's more of like the sizes of the garage doors.
How like, big can we get?
Like 22 feet wide, 25 feet wide. I was asked to do a 25-foot garage door.
Why do you need a 25?
That's the exact response that I gave. I said, who needs a 25-foot garage door? Right. So we scaled it back down, and then we ended up going 22 feet wide.
But even 22.
It's ridiculous.
What's the standard double? 18?
16 feet.
16.
2-car garage. Yeah.
And they wanted 25.
Yeah.
9 feet. That's another garage door.
Yeah. It was, yeah. But we ended up going 22 feet, which is still very, very wide, right?
Is it possible to create that whole opening, but would have like 3 doors that are kind of flush connected to each other?
You would have to build the home a certain way, frame it a certain way to achieve that type of look. You're almost looking like more of like a flush mount door, essentially. Yeah, it would have to be like flush with the face of the wall.
What's the real purpose on why you need that large of an opening?
It's the architecture. It flows with the home. This is the opening, right?
But a car is only so wide, right?
It's a constant battle. It's a constant battle.
So even at 22, were you nervous about the weight?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. They're big doors. Even my dad's like, oh my son, you're pushing the limits here. You know what I mean? But I'm like, okay, let's try to figure this out.
He probably thought never in his day that he would have to put that big of a door in someone's home.
Yeah, it was like 1,000 it was like 1,200 pounds. Yeah, big doors, right? But I'm always like communicating with the architects, even sometimes the homeowners, right? We always have to come collectively, right? Because the homeowner might not even know about this. Like, oh, if I knew I wanted, if there was an 18-foot door, I would have went with an 18-foot door, right? But hey, sometimes you just try not to get involved with that part.
I stopped by a job site and I was just looking at it, and they had the 4 garage doors, right? 4 single garage doors.
4 single garage, nice.
And they felt like they were 9 feet tall. They're probably 9 feet wide or something like that.
Nice.
But it was parked on the side of the house, so you have to make the left turn to get in there.
Nice.
And I briefly met the homeowner as I was leaving, and I was like, yeah, you're nicking every single jam of those when you're driving into that thing. I guarantee you.
Oh, hitting the side frames.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because there wasn't enough space to make that turn.
Was it a subdivision or just like a custom home?
It was a custom home off a pretty rural, busy road.
Okay.
And so, like, the way the house was parked,
right,
and then they parked a garage maybe 30 feet away.
Interesting.
And then secondary double car garage, but triple length as a workshop. So they only left 30 feet in between that structure and the home structure of the garage. And then there's 4 garage doors. And now every single person that's going to get into that garage door has to make a sharp left.
Of course, absolutely.
And I'm like, I'm guaranteeing you're nicking every single jam here on the left side. I guarantee you.
100%.
Unless you're going to do like a 3 or 4, 15-point turn to get in there.
Should have went wider with the garage door or something, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I just that's just poor planning at that point, right?
Absolutely.
Like you got to understand that you're hiding the garage because they probably did that to hide the face of having 4 doors at the face of the house. Yeah. But now you've created a much bigger problem when people are driving home and they're coming into their house.
Of course. Yeah. There's a lot of things you have to, when it goes into the home, building and the planning and all that, you have to really be on top of it, right? Because even certain situations, because at the end of the day, we do many, many large custom homes and mid-size and everything in between. But some of these projects, if you're not planning, like there's a lot of situations where like low clearance, low headroom tracks in some of these builds in Toronto, there's HVAC running through the ceilings. There's no space. So it always comes back down to planning and communicating with GCs, architects, and all that stuff.
As nice as the powder coated tracks are,
yeah.
You ever had a client ask you to do like some sort of trim work that hides all that track assembly and then just has a groove where the wheels, the casters just go through it?
I think we've done something like that in the past. Yeah, we have.
That'd be pretty slick, huh? But
that's the service. If you ever have to service it, right? So there's a lot of things that come with that. Like we've done one where it was basically hidden within the ceiling space. So the garage door went right into the ceiling. So when you're looking at it, you don't see disappears, right?
Yeah, but how do you service that now?
That's the thing, right? The install has to be perfect. We still haven't got any calls. This was done about like 7 years ago, but it's one of those things.
It's possible. Anything's possible.
It's possible, but yeah, do some damage to the ceiling and all that stuff, right? So I just say, let's make it functional. let's make it look good, but let's make it functional too, right?
I'm just thinking more and more
people.
Get
carried away here.
Yeah, they're making their garages a lot more livable space, friendlier space. Like, I mean, I've got an epoxy floor, and I enjoy walking on it with my feet, right? So it's like I don't have to worry about it. And every so often, you just hose it out, right?
Yeah.
That's all it is. But I can see people asking for certain things just to hide certain mechanical components of the door, right?
Of course. Yeah, they'll build something around like the motors, and they'll do the best they can, right, to make it as clean as possible. Yeah.
So where do you think trend-wise, okay, we talked about black.
Yeah.
What else are people asking for these days? I guess black and smoked glass.
Just black, aluminum glass. We're heavy into these flush mount garage doors these days.
Nobody wants grain anymore. They just want flat.
Smooth finish.
Smooth finish, flat, right?
Yeah, that's the number one right now. Smooth, no texture. A lot of people don't like the wood grain texture on the steel. So they want like a nice smooth, like ACM finish type product.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It's nice, but then the thing is, there's a lot of downfalls to that product. So we always have to educate the client, hey, you know what? The smooth finish looks great and all, but you will see a lot more deficiencies compared to a door that has a stucco or a wood grain embossment on it. Right, you'll see a lot more of that scratches or dents. The textures tend to hide all those deficiencies.
There was a tile. I remember using a tile one time, which was like an epoxy filled tile. It was pretty thick. It was about 3/4 inch thick, and it had a bunch of different kinds of different color pebbles. If anybody's paying attention to my social media back in the day, it was really ironic that one of the tiles, it's like 2 foot by 2 foot tile, right?
Okay.
It's a short story, but I'll get to the point. But it's humorous, right?
Yeah.
Floor turned out perfect, like beautiful. It had all these irregular shaped stones in it mixed in with the epoxy, and it was just a certain kind of tone. It was great, right? And then I always liked staring at the work and complimenting the trades that's done the work and everything like that. But I always just stare there, and I'm a people person that just watches, right?
Of course, yeah. I'm the same way.
I'm staring at all this stone, right? I'm looking around, and all of a sudden this one stone, this one purple color stone started sticking out in my vision, right? And I'm like, that can't, no way, that can't be, right? And then I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I'm changing my perspective, and I'm going around it, and I'm like, that can't. Is that what it? Then I take a picture of it, and then I call the tile guy to come in here, and I'm like, and I point it. Yeah. And I go, what does that look like? And he goes, it looks like a penis. And it was purple, too, at that point. And then I got like going, man, I can't believe that this is like the girls' bathroom, man. This is insane, man. So like it wasn't going to get covered by vanity. It wasn't going to get covered by anything. But I mean, we never said anything. We never told anybody, whatever. But it was always there. And then if anybody followed my social media, there was a picture that I posted and I shared it. But it got me thinking. I always liked that pattern without the penis. If you were to get that kind of pattern, like a natural element pattern, and cladded the garage door with that.
I've done one like that in Forest Hill.
You've done that? Really, huh?
Yeah, in Forest Hill. Yeah.
How do you, so you're adhering it to the metal?
To the steel. And we're going to be doing another, one of our reels. It will be coming out soon. We did a brick clad garage door.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to see this thing. It's incredible.
Does it look, have you taken a picture? Have you shown it or?
Not yet.
Not yet?
We're just finalizing, the adjustments on it.
See, that would look good too.
Yeah, and that was even more challenging because it was a flush mount door, one of these flush mount doors. So when you're looking at it, it looks like it's part of the home, all brick.
Yeah, that's why I would like it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like an elongated, thin brick.
Yeah, it was.
Or even a darker brick.
It was a gray, nice, it was nice. Wait till you see the pictures on this. Yeah, it's incredible.
See, it's funny. 20 years ago, I was all about black panel, flat, and now I'm like more about interesting, just elements, details that you can clad a door with.
Yeah, bringing that uniqueness.
It's almost like a piece of art, like at that point.
That's what I call it, garage door art.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's people, when our homeowners and clients, they see some of our designs, like, it's unbelievable what you guys can do. And I said, yeah, we're trying to change the game.
And if I was your client standing there, I'd be like, and I really love that beige keypad right next to everything that we just spent money on.
Just toss it,
Liftmaster, wake up, man.
Yeah, Liftmaster, please, get on it. Get on it, yeah.
Even like, is it Tremclad or Rust-Oleum? They've got like the hammered spray now. Like they have all kinds of different kind of metallic spray cans.
Most homeowners, I feel, they're just spraying it black with like a plastic, one of those plastic cans.
I know, but it's just, it's not going to come clean. And then if you try to lift it up and then spray
you'll still see, no, you can't. No,
it's never going to come clean. And then I've looked at it and I've tried to dissect it and open it up. And I'm like, this is a can of worms, man. I'm not touching this.
Yeah, just do that, or just download the app on your phone and just Like,
but it's nice to have the keypad there.
It's nice. Or just put it on the side of the house, right? Or if you have an Apple Watch, just click it on your watch and opens up the garage.
But then, and that goes back to security. Now we've got to balance these two acts, right? Like
it's crazy because now LiftMaster, they have this. It's called Amazon Key. So what's happening?
Was that the thing about that? So then, if you actually hack into it, you can get into the whole house now at that point.
So I don't know about hackers and all that stuff, but what the system allows is the Amazon drivers. They pull up to the house. They have an access point for your garage door. The garage door opens up. Put your package in.
No.
And I'm like, you know how many people signed up for this? I saw it on the LiftMaster website. It was like millions of people in the States. I don't know about here. I don't know if it's popular here or not, but yeah, I wouldn't want anybody. No,
we did a show with MB Sentinel, which was basically a box that you put in as your mailbox. It's keypad.
Oh, nice.
Right, so it's not Wi-Fi enabled. It's hardwired, and it's large enough that you can fit a good sized box from Amazon.
Oh, wow.
And that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And he came up with that invention in the States because of all the pirate theft that was going on.
Yeah,
porches,
of course.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
So I wouldn't want my Amazon delivery, as nice as the people are. I'm not giving them.
Yeah,
access
it's a lot
to
of sales.
Because what do you park in the garage at that? Sometimes you'll park certain things.
Well, that's what I was thinking. So for me, I was looking at that. I'm like, okay, this Amazon driver. Okay, these motors do come with a camera on it, so you see them putting. But what if they see? Oh,
that's tonight's episode.
You have a nice 911 there or something. Yeah, like I don't know about that. I wouldn't.
No way. I don't like that. No. That I don't like. Yeah. I guess you know what? That's why I equate the MB Sentinel box kind of like a modern day milk door, or whatever it was, right? Milk box.
Nice.
But it's got a keypad on it, so it protects you.
Smart.
And then you. Yeah, I don't want anybody walking. You might as well just invite
I feel like
them
we're allowing
house.
too many things to like.
It's convenience of being broken into.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah.
I guess at some point, if someone drives into one of your doors, there's no sense in repairing it. It's about a replacing situation at that point, right?
It depends. If it's
really,
yeah. I mean,
still repairable if it's to
a certain extent. So like the custom wood doors that we build and fabricate, that becomes a little tricky because we've painted the whole door. So if they hit like a bottom panel with their car, we would have to remove it, bring it back to our shop, respray it. For the steel garage door side. Yeah, like you would it depends to the extent. Like if you're going right through the garage, you're going to replace all 4 or 5 panels. That's got to be replaced. But if sometimes you just hit it hard, but not like hard enough to where it creases the door, then we can fix it. We can put some struts and just strain it out as much as we can. And
if the airbags weren't deployed, it's probably repairable, right?
Yeah, we've been to some homes and I said, how is this even possible? Like it's unbelievable, hitting the stone and this. I said, wow. Like,
it's like water. They thought the hot's on the right, and no, it's not England.
Yeah, no, but there's a lot of like even with the Teslas. So recently I've been hearing a lot of this. Tesla has a feature where you pull up to the garage and it opens. But in the past, I would say 8 months, I've been getting calls of Teslas. Something happened. Basically, the gas would activate and the Tesla would like reverse into the garage door or reverse forward when they were pulling up to the garage door. So I'm wondering if that technology has something to do with like with in terms of the Tesla, like I don't know, it might be.
I don't know.
I have no idea. But yeah, it caused a lot of damage. Like
I just know that the sensors. I was shocked by this. I was parking my vehicle, and the sensors are getting so sensitive now that the wheels were literally about 2 or 3 inches away from the curb,
right?
And it blocked the car from going any further. Just locked it, right?
So in front of the garage door.
Not in front of the garage door. It was like a commercial parking lot, and I was just too close to the curb,
right?
And then I tried to jimmy the wheels straighter to just orient the car better in the parking spot. And since I was getting too close to the curb, the car stopped and it wouldn't go any further to the curb. So it's like that's a curb height to the wheel, and then it was stopping. And so I don't understand how a Tesla is not stopping from a wall surface blocking you.
It's kind of strange. Yeah, it happened on to like 3 occasions, but I don't know. It's that caused a lot of damage to like the garage door. So in a situation like that, we had to replace the garage door entirely. And
at that point, are they ripping out the tracks? Probably
the tracks are all bent, and
you're just starting from scratch.
Yeah,
and you'd be grateful you didn't damage any structural, right? Because you might have ripped some points.
There was one like recently. The whole side of the structural, the stonework came off. They hit the beam. It shifted. Like it was. Yeah,
this is someone backing out or driving in.
They said they just pulled in, and all of a sudden the car just went forward, right into the structure.
This was a Tesla one.
Yeah. I know. I don't get involved with the Tesla.
No, but everyone knows how much of a fan I am.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm not a fan.
No, I know.
I am not a fan, and I'm still waiting for the Cybertruck to show up.
Nice.
And
your deposit's still.
No, I didn't. I didn't put a deposit. I know a lot of tradespeople that put deposits down.
Yeah, it was a $200 deposit.
Yeah, so that he basically built his empire. He built the manufacturing process with that deposit, which is great, smart marketing, wonderful.
Interesting. I never thought of it like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Solar panel shingles never came to market.
Yeah.
Like, these are all great. These are wonderful ideas.
I agree.
But if you got a car that's basically doing whatever it wants to do in your garage and is damaging thing, do you go through your home insurance? Do you go to your car insurance?
I think I think it's both.
Both,
Yeah.
You're damaging the vehicle. You're damaging the home.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Or do you just like send the bill to Elon? Is like what do you do at that point?
It's one of those things. Like, just with the electronic vehicles, all these EVs, I don't know, with all the tech, like
I don't get it. Sometimes, like you said earlier, it's like you're just inviting all this tech inside the house and
just simplify it. Why do we have to? Sometimes we complicate things too much. We don't need to.
I'm still of the mind. I hate hotel cards.
Key cards. Yeah.
I like keys.
Yeah.
I mean, am I stupid? I like keys, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know of a single hotel. You'd have to find some really bougie kind of out of nowhere, old school in Europe.
Yeah.
That doesn't have. You'd have to find a castle.
Yeah.
Castle with a skeleton key at that point, right? Yeah. It wouldn't be a key card, but all this tech, man, just
I'm always about simplifying things. Yeah. We don't need to complicate it.
Oh, okay, Rob. We're getting close to wrapping it up. What else do you want to? I think we've talked all kinds of stuff.
How long has it been here?
I think it's been about, how long? I'm looking at 80 minutes? No, 90, 70 minutes. 80 minutes. Nice. We're getting close to the end. I just got to do the 12 questions with you, and that's it, bro.
Awesome. Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. I would like them to just, I personally wouldn't, I'd love to have like a narrow 36-inch wide garage door.
Yeah. We'll make it for you.
I always liked, like I'm an old school Toronto guy with lofts. I was like, I grew up on being in those haunted lofts in Toronto that you heard stories about child labor and children being killed and all this, like all kinds of weird stories in these places, butcher shops and all kinds of stuff, sweatshops and things like that. And you get into the lifts and they had those creaky little wooden doors. And like, I mean, I always liked that kind of stuff because it was character driven, right? I always like I'd love to see garage doors. I'm on this kick about the brushed stainless because I'd love to see a metal garage door with like rivets in it.
Okay.
Almost like it's an unfinished welded door.
Oh, we did one like that.
Did you really, huh?
Yeah, it was imported from the client, but we installed it for him.
See, I think that would look sick.
Yeah, it was pretty unique. Yeah, it was like all iron.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Yeah, the craftsman on that was.
It's like I'm beyond the flat black and
it's like, trends. It comes, it goes. Yeah, like,
I'd almost want to smack a client that's asking for a colonial panel white. I'd be like, dude, what's wrong with you, man?
I get quite a few of those.
Oh, hey, don't doubt
Rob, I'm flipping the home. Just put something cheap and cheerful. Okay.
Then leave it as is and just here's a can of paint. Just splash it right on it. Jackson Pollock thing. That's it. Put the for sale sign on it.
Yeah, man. It's incredible.
Yeah. All right, Rob, let's get to the 12 questions, man. What are we? Okay, so Rob, how do you get it? Canizares. Yeah. Maple Overhead Garage Doors, www.maplegaragedoors.com, and Rob at maplegaragedoors.com, and on Instagram at Maple Doors. What everyday sound brings you joy and comfort?
Repeat that question.
What everyday sound brings you joy and comfort?
Everyday sound. The birds chirping in the morning.
It is a nice sound.
Yeah, it's calm.
It's going to start disappearing soon.
Yeah, I know.
The howl of the wind is going to start.
Yeah, I know.
What's your favorite beverage?
Favorite beverage?
You don't have a favorite beverage? Like the go-to beverage?
There's no really go-to, no. I just go with the flow, yeah. Just drink water, whatever. Orange juice.
Quenching?
Yeah.
What's your least favorite tool?
My least favorite tool.
What tool brand are you? I'm curious.
Well, I'm not really on the tools anymore.
Yeah, that's what
right?
I mean. That's what I'm
thing,
curious.
right?
Well, what would your dad have been? What was he? Go
He
to?
was a DeWalt guy.
Yeah, old school.
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah, DeWalt guy. Now we're.
He was a Stanley converted over to DeWalt.
Yeah. But now the team has like they're all Milwaukee and
everybody.
Yeah, of course.
So what's your least favorite tool?
I would say the grinder. Yeah.
It's harsh.
Yeah.
What turns you on creatively?
A well thought out design, I would say. Yeah.
What word or concept do you find overused these days?
Can't do it. Yeah.
What's your favorite curse word?
The F-bomb.
What's your favorite vehicle in the entire world?
Porsche 911. It's my car.
No.
GTS, turbo. I used to work for Porsche many years. So
silver?
Black or guards red or Nardo gray.
I thought there was a rule back in the day, but mind you, I do prefer a black Porsche rough back in the 80s.
Oh, those are nice. Yeah.
With the whale tail, right?
Oh, beautiful car.
But there was always this unwritten rule that if it was German, it was silver. If it was English, it was green. If it was Italian, it was red.
Okay.
There was always unwritten rule. But then as soon as the whole supercar market came out, the whole color thing just went out the door, right?
Yellows and blues.
But I mean, Porsche looks great in yellows. It looks great in green with a tan interior.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love those cars. No, it's a great vehicle. Great vehicle.
What do you miss from your childhood?
What do I miss from my childhood? I'd say old friendships, maybe. Right?
Yeah. Wonder where they are.
Yeah.
What term or phrase resonates with the core of who you are?
Passion, hard work.
If you could master a skill outside of your own expertise, what would it be?
I would say home building. My wife would even have to agree with that.
You want to be a builder?
I might.
You want to lose money?
I just built my own cottage in 7 months, so yeah.
How was that experience?
It was amazing.
Loved it?
I loved it. 7 months, Manny.
7? How many square feet?
2,400 square feet.
On an island or not?
It's in Muskoka. It's a lakeside cottage. Yeah, we did that November, and we just wrapped it up this May.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, man. So that my wife says, builder, just you have something. And I said, okay, maybe in the future. But yeah, if you want to lose money, I guess.
You want to lose money. You got to listen to more of our shows.
Yeah, maybe I should. No, it was a good rental property. So.
It's a great business, man.
Yeah, I know.
If you could speak with any historic figure from the past, who would it be and what would you ask?
Oh, my goodness.
Anybody in the world. In the world or in the history.
I don't even have an answer for that one.
No? Can't think of anybody in the past?
No.
Talk to Tesla.
Yeah.
Nobody?
No one. No.
Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
You did well, son.
That's all you need to say. That's it, man.
That's it.
Rob, man, thanks so much.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
Pleasure to meeting you finally after we've spoken so many times.
Absolutely, yeah.
www.maplegaragedoors.com, Maple Overhead Garage Doors, and Rob at maplegaragedoors.com, and on IG at Maple Doors. I think that's it.
Perfect.
That's it. It's awesome. Painless. It's painless. Tell everybody it's painless.
Oh, this is... Listen, I talk all day long. So
that's what I was saying. You do this all the time. The only difference is we got a little record button. That's all.
That's all good. Yeah, it's great. It's great to talk about every industry and see what everybody else is going through, and all these elements to everybody's business. So
cool.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, Rob. Thank
you so much. Appreciate it.
We're out of here. Thanks, Angelina.